he's just, I still do keep in touch with him. And he's
You do?
just, yes, amazing, amazing guy.
You're going to tell him I want him on my show? I want to
George,
interview him.
you got to do Eddie's show. He's the best. He's the man. He is. Bring Cliff. But, and Julie Bowen, who's on Modern Family now, who I just emailed recently and talked over email, is one of the funniest ladies I think I've ever met in my entire life. Yeah, she would do a scene, and she was off camera at one point and giving cues to us, and she would do a scene, and the camera would be on us, and she'd be off camera, and she just started doing this crazy and I said cut because I was laughing so hard. The director yelled at me, and so Julie got me in trouble here. But she is a sweetheart and just one of the nicest people in the world. So
you kind of enjoyed everybody, really.
Yeah, I did. I really liked them. Nicole Richie won't return my calls. Other than that, I liked everyone. No,
So you keep in touch with a lot of them? You do?
Just the main people I keep in touch with are George and Malik Yoba, who's on New York Undercover, who's a really good guy and a tremendous actor. The rest of them I don't see much. I mean, there's a couple kids who are up and coming who are in. Alex Anfanger, who's tremendously funny. He's in New York doing a lot of plays and stuff now, and I do keep in touch with him a lot as well. And the producer, obviously, we're going to talk about, Andrew Schaefer.
Tell me about your other movie, 99% Sure.
99% Sure was an amazing time for me. It was 2 years ago in July, in the summer, July to August. 19 days shoot. 19 days. And Pat Taggart is the director. And how I got this role was his mom, waitress at the place where I do stand-up, and she read the script. And the part I play is Guy Winslow Page. And she said, Chris is perfect for it. No audition, he just cast me. I went. And it worked out. It's basically the story of a guy who is an author, and he only writes one book, and that's all he cares about. And he meets this girl. I mean, he's got a big pool, he's got a really nice house. He meets this girl, so he's set for life. He meets this girl who kind of makes him see the other side of life. That there's more things out there. His only friends are his mailman who comes every day, and his brother who mooches off him and lives with him. So every character, what I love about this movie is every character comes in their own. They have their own story in it. The mailman's having a baby, his wife's having a baby. My character's trying to find himself as far as what he's going to do with his life. He's a 30-year-old crossing guard. It's his only job. So it's in the New Hope Film Festival this July.
Okay. When will it come
It's
out?
going to be shown in the New Hope Film Festival July 10th, up in New Hope at 3 o'clock. You can go online and look at that. But
99%
right now it's making the festival circuits. So
okay, great.
Hopefully soon we'll see it out. Because Pat Taggart, the director writer, is an amazing talent who I know we're going to be hearing about.
Okay. Another question. You were recently cast in a play.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Play is Don Gio. It's a modern telling of Don Giovanni, Mozart's famous opera, which I never thought I'd be cast on. Oh, it's not an opera. I'm not an opera singer. But it's basically about this guy who's a gigolo. He's a heavy-set gigolo. And he gets all these women, but there's one woman he can't conquer because she doesn't like his sex. But he'll do anything to get her, anything. So there's a lot of flesh, I think, a little bit of dirtiness. I had to warn my mom and my aunts because they're like, Mary's Blessed Mother sisters,
Yeah.
I had to warn them. But it's a really funny show, and I was drawn to the script when I read it, went and auditioned, and I was really happy to land the role because it's tremendous.
This sounds really good.
Yeah.
And I'd like the audience to know when the play is, the dates, where it's at, and how they can get tickets.
It's at the Main Stage Theater on West 36th Street
in New York.
In New York City, Midtown Manhattan. And you go to midtownfestival.org. That has all the dates on it. It's July 16th, 17th, 18th, 21st, 30th, and then it closes on the 31st. So it's a really funny show. If you want to come out and laugh, and I'm sure you will at the show, because it's tremendous actors and actresses in it. And we started rehearsal last week. And I'm going back up tomorrow, in fact. Saturday, I'll be up every weekend. But it's a tremendous play. You guys got to come out, because there's not enough advertising for off-Broadway theater, which is another thing I'm working on, which we could talk about Andrew Schaefer.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's going to be theaterfanatic.com, and it's a website out there that Andrew Schaefer's doing. Stephen Meyer, Eric Marciano. These guys are putting this website together that is going to promote off-Broadway theater. It's going to launch in October. And Andrew Schaefer is the funniest, most talented guy I've ever worked with. That's no lie. And he's the face of this website. And it's really long overdue. Because you go to New York to see the Broadway, you see everything. There's so many good shows that are off-Broadway and off-Broadway that aren't seen, or and this website's going to do a lot.
What's the website again?
It's going to be called theaterfanatic.com.
Theaterfanatic.com.
Yep, and it's going to launch in October. So
okay, you got a lot of good stuff going.
Yeah, I'm really excited, Eddie.
Okay, now listen, I know people all over the country, actually all over the world, are watching my interviews. The play Don Gio's in New York City, so all the people listening in New York, Northern Jersey, Philadelphia's only an hour and a half ride to New York. You got to see this guy in this play. It's going to be real, real good. You get your money's worth, promise you.
Come on out.
Come on out. At the end of the interview on the screen, we'll post again how you get tickets and the dates of the play.
Yes.
Now I got to ask you a couple more questions. I know, you've met a lot of famous people. You've had experiences where, I know you told me that Jimmy Fallon's a great guy. You hung out with him one night. Tell me a little bit about that. That sounded really interesting.
Well, I was Andrew Schaefer, once again, the guy who's done so much for me, has known all these people, from Adam Sandler to Jimmy Fallon to Molly Sheen, all these people. And he's been nice enough to, bring me along as a young comic to meet these guys at parties. We were at a restaurant in New York, and Jimmy was there. And I kind of got up to go talk to him. Made a fool, like the chair fell into a table. It was a big, big to do. So I already made butt of myself before I went up to him. But I went up to him and I just basically told him I was a young comedian and I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. And couldn't have been a nicer guy than Jimmy Fallon. He talked to me for about 20 minutes.
Really? About
getting on the show, about SNL, just gave me some really good advice. And even before I left, I thanked him and just was really cool. So Jimmy, I'll never forget it. It was tremendous. And
Jimmy, I want to say something. I mean, I do watch your show all the time. You are a great talented guy. But I want to just say one thing. Here's a guy that has a lot of talent. He just needs to be on one. The EddieTunick show is a vehicle, hopefully, to launch people like Chris onto the next level, which would be shows like, The Tonight Show, Jay Leno's show, Jimmy Fallon. And a guy like this, he just needs one of you guys just to put him on his show one night.
Throw me on there.
I'll throw him on there.
I'll do whatever you want.
Jimmy.
Whatever you want, Jimmy.
The guy loves you. He says you're a great guy, which we know you are. Get in touch with him. Put him on the show one night.
Thank you, Jimmy. You're the best. Do the EddieTunick show, too, Jimmy.
What else am I leaving out here? I mean, we talked about the plays, the movies. You got a lot of experience.
Yeah, stand-up, we basically covered it all. And it's been a great ride, and young actors. I talk to a lot of people in our business, and it is a tough business, but if you love it, it's worth it, and you just never give up. You just got to keep on going. We were talking about that before we started the show.
Right, never give up.
No, you can't, because this is my big passion in life, and this is the only thing I've ever loved, and really the only thing I could ever do. I wasn't really good at school or any kind of work. I was actually fired from a landscaping job. The guy was 70-some years old and told me I was too slow. So, I was too slow. This guy was 75. But,
75 going on 35?
Oh my God, he was tough. He had me build a hole. He wanted me to dig a hole for a sign that was that big. When I came back, the hole was that big. The sign wouldn't fit. It was brutal. I was fired one day. I went back the next day. He said, after lunch you can go home. I said, I got a half day. He said, no, you're fired. So that's been my work experience for a long time. But comedy and acting is always what I love, and I want to continue to do it. And I thank you, Eddie, for giving us this vehicle to come on and talk to you and tell people about stuff we're doing. And
well, the show was created. My show was created for people that excel in what they're doing and have a passion for it, and you fill that premise. I mean, you're perfect. You do excel in what you do. You got a passion for it, and I believe you're going places. I really do.
Thank you, Eddie.
So I appreciate you coming on the
Thanks
show,
so
Chris.
much.
It was great meeting you.
Great meeting you.
I hope everybody enjoyed this interview. Again, at the end of the interview, we'll put it on the screen, how to get tickets to Don Gio in New York City. Follow this guy's career. I think he's going to be a big star. I really do. Thanks for being a great audience, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much. My mom's coming to pick me up. I got to get going.
Have a nice holiday weekend, everyone.